Hello, welcome back, drivers. Okay, it's bloody freezing in here, so I just turned on my heating. There we go. I know it sounds fairly gay, however, it really was very cold. There we go. Right, now, if we look down the side here, okay, we've got our mapping, which is obviously what's taken place with our mesh here, okay, and it's given us all these different polygons here. Now, some of them are okay. Um, Other times, they're a bit balked up, like they are here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just in, see this texture alignment mode? If I click it, I can select things, and I'm just going to select basically all these, yeah? Because I want my textures to line up. Now, if I move the arrow like this, you'll see all it's doing is it's moving the textures around. It's not actually moving the blocks themselves around. And just be very careful how you select stuff, yeah? Okay, so with those selected, whoops, there we go, wrong one. As I was saying, with those selected, okay, I can go to my surface properties here, and this will give me various different options I can use. For example, I can just stick a straight planar map on this and apply it, and you'll see it straightens it out. And I can also do things like panning, so I can move it across, perhaps a little bit more just to line it up, and I can scale it down if I want to, and I can rotate it and do all sorts of funky things, see? Like that. Obviously I don't want to, but it means I can. Okay, so obviously with that side done, what I want to do now is just come over this side and do the same again down here. And I don't need to adjust those ones, but I do need to adjust these ones. So, and obviously because it's stairs, there's quite a few of these. We don't need to do the back side of the stairs unless we're going around the back of them, obviously. And yes, we can still use our marquee select if we want to. There we are. And again, I'm just going to make this planar, okay, like so. And I'm not going to worry quite so much about making them all fit or anything like that, yeah? Because what I can also do is I can assign textures to things. So I'll just close that down, and I'm going to open up my, sorry about that, scratch my finger. I'm going to open up my asset browser. There it is there, and obviously you can just go to your browser windows and click content browser if you've lost it. Now what I'm going to do is find something that will work nicely on the floor. So again, this time I've got static meshes. Let's just go to textures, and you can see all the different lovely textures, okay, that make this up. And you've got, if I just unselect static meshes here, there we go. We've also got materials, so you can just apply straight materials. So let's just find something that might work with this. See, there's concrete. Concrete will work nicely with something like that. Or what else have we got? Well, I'll just scroll down and select something. I do apologise, I was thinking in 3ds Max terms rather than in UDK terms. It's materials, not textures. Wrong way around. So what I'm doing is I'm just browsing this, and you'll see we've got various different things like rock walls and stuff like that. So we'll just find something that's going to work for us. Don't want roof tiles. It's lovely, lovely textures here, you see, like barks and stuff. And some here that are just composites and support walls. I love almost all of these because I mean, we only use these placeholders, but they're really nice textures. So find something I like. That rock there, I can just drag it straight across. And see, it's just gone straight in. Now the floor's mapped with this. And remember, as before, if I just go into my surface properties, we can still change things about it. So, we could change the angle it's at. We can flip it. We can do all sorts of things really to this one. Just going to close this window down again. Right, and what I want to do is just find something more brick-like really for the side of our stairs. Some nice wooden boards there. Like I say, I'm just noodling though. And it's something you should do. Remember, I've always said that, it's good practice to noodle inside of 3ds Max. It's really good practice to noodle inside of UDK. You'll come up with all sorts of ideas. Ooh, that broken glass is nice, isn't it? And there's a fence. I'm just reading you what's here, you know. It's like that episode of The Simpsons where she talks to Corey. Is it Corey? See, there's a concrete base. We could apply that to there instead if we wanted. Give us a concrete floor. I think I'm going to keep the other one though, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the concrete over here instead. Give us these nice concretey steps. So, again, come down here. And if we're applying it all as one big texture, then it'll be nice and seamless. Which is important because, you know, you can see obviously where we're using repetition, but what we're going to do is we're going to use props just to hide a lot of the repetition. Even when we duplicate the part we're using a few times, which I intend to do. You know, repetition will make things easier. Okay, now I can just click and drag to there. And to there. See, I can apply it to all of these. And the good thing is that, obviously, we can apply some to some areas and some not to other areas, or we can just apply it to the entire lot. Which we can do just by right-clicking and work damn you, clicking Apply Material M Concrete Base, like so. See? So now that's all on there. And we can do it again from this side. Remember, we don't want madly elaborate use of textures for things like that, when we can use props that are going to define it for us much better in the first place. Hopefully you're getting some fun out of doing this. It's always good fun being creative. There we go. So again, I've just deselected it all. I am an absolute mupster. There we go. Apply material. So now you can see we've got the concrete applied there. And then we can do stuff on the front here. And to be honest, if it's made out of concrete, we may as well just go the whole hog and do it this way. So what I'm going to do is just go in and apply it to this. Remember, if we get a result we're not happy with, we can change the mapping options inside of UDK. We can even adjust additional steps to make some of them darker or lighter if we want to, make them more weathered. There's a lot of nice options here. See, so you can see how some of them are really repeating themselves a bit there. Hang on. But if I go into my surface properties here and make it planar instead, you'll notice that we're getting a lot less repetition than we were before, and I can kind of move them along a little bit. I can angle them a bit if I want to, things like that. I'll just put it back to the way it was. There we are. Just close that off. So pull back out, and now we can see this. Okay, and we can kind of see the result that we're going to get here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save my map. So what I've done is I've saved my maps over here, and I'm just going to change this to O2 because I've already saved part O1. There we go, and that's done. And now if I want to, I can recalculate the light, and we can have a quick look at this. Now something to pay attention to here, if I just go to my side view, okay, in our mirror you can see this line here which is probably red. I'm horribly colorblind, so I apologize. If we go to our world properties under view and see our kill Z, which is our kill zone, okay, basically anything we put in here, so if I set that to 0, if the player goes below this line they die. That's how it works. So if we make it -100, if they walk down into this pit they're going to die. Make it -200. When they're near the bottom of the pit they're going to die. So you could have gas in here and have them dying from being gassed, you know. So -300. And as you see, it's below that level there, and I can just pull this out. And now the player won't die when they go down into that hole. So now I'm going to drop back into my perspective view, just because that's the way I roll. Still got our sky up there, which is nice. And what I want to do now is just click on this little light bulb, okay, and that's going to build our lighting. I'm just going to build it at medium, and click OK. And sometimes it'll ask if it can access your firewall. Just let it if it wants to. This is our swarm agent. I'll just click it up so you can see what it's doing. I've got a fairly quick machine. You may have a much quicker one because this one's about a year old now, but it's quick enough for what I'm doing. If I just stop that. Notice the warning. Map's not built with production lighting, and we've got some overlapping UVs, which I already knew about. They're just warnings though. If I right click here and just play from here, you can see our lighting. It's kind of working, see? We've got our shadowing coming down from, well, it's not accurate because the moon's over there, but you know, we've got our shadowing coming down. We've got our concrete steps, including this rather nice low step here. I might even put some water in here depending on how I feel. After all, it's kind of a drainage sump kind of thing from what my colleague Rek was saying. But as you can see, we've made some progress here. So, okay, now let's look at a couple of things just to add some detail to this because, you know, we want to. So again, if I just go over to my browser window and add my content browser, and this time I'm just going to go down and click my static meshes again. Okay, and that gives me all sorts of nice things that I can just dump in here. So for example, for set dressing, what would we have perhaps down here? Well, we could have a couple of barrels. Barrels are great. Barrels hide evidence beautifully. Okay, you ever want to, you know, hide the fact that you've got some stuff going on here, just stick a couple of barrels in. Oops, I'm in the wrong area. Let's just go to this one. There we go. I was still in texture mode there. The good thing is for that though, I can obviously adjust my textures as I see fit. So we've got one barrel there. Now, a common mistake you're going to do is you're going to go, right, let's have 2 barrels. And now you've got 2 identical barrels set up exactly the same way. Well, firstly, they wouldn't be lined up identically, so let's move one forward a little bit. We could rotate that one a bit like that. Okay, so now we've got 2 barrels. What are we going to have near these barrels? Well, let's have a look down here again in our assets. We've got, well, that's ammo for a shock rifle. That's not really what I want. We're not even focusing on weapons at the minute, and we certainly don't want any plants, even though they're lovely. There's some pipe work. We could have some pipe work, especially down here. So here's all the various pipes. Probably build some pipes up in the next part. There's a chain fence. There's so many nice things that you can put in this, and it's so easy just to put your pre-made assets in. So let's have this, which is kind of like a little Klieg, and I'm going to put it on there. And the reason I put it on there is that it now changes the way that our geometry looks, because even though this is a repetitive pattern, sorry, I'll just come out here. Even though this is a repetitive pattern, it's with this on it, it doesn't look the same at all. I think you kind of hopefully understand where I'm coming from here, yeah? In the same way that if I was to drag this out and put that there, you know, by adding this, suddenly we lose a lot of similarity in segments. So that's kind of why we do the set dressing in the first place. So let's add that there, see if there's anything else I want to put in. To be honest, I wouldn't mind adding a couple of these things here. You see these bunker bases. Good thing about those is they add nicely to it, and we can just kind of sink them into the wall a bit, like this. And they break the wall up, see? And they make it look like it's part of the actual way that it's supposed to be built. So if I just put, say, 2 here, like that. Okay, because you are allowed to overlap geometry, and suddenly you're getting these kind of things that are holding it together, yeah? I kind of hope you understand anyway. I kind of approach this in the same way that I approach 3ds Max. Yeah, you start with your first iteration, and then from your first iteration you kind of go on and go on and go on. So there's a pile of rocks there. The thing about a pile of rocks is, you know, you've got to think yourself, why is the pile of rocks there? There's nothing broken here. There's nothing missing from the wall. Do you think someone would have carried them down there? It's more likely you'd have broken stuff if you have tiles down here on your floor like this, yeah? The good thing about using things like this is we've got our base texture underneath. So all we have to do is just drag this over the top like that. Now obviously, remember there's 2 sides to it, but what I can do is just grab that one there like that. Start lining them up a bit. Okay, so we've got these kind of broken tiles down here. And I'll put another one over here. But this one I'll spin round to about there. That way it doesn't look quite exactly the same. I'll just pull it down into pattern with this. Now obviously you can see if you look hard enough that the two patterns are the same, so in order to break that up a bit more we can put a little something on top of it. So let's have a look again. We don't want to put too much on it. And putting the rocks on it isn't going to be any use anyway, not unless we edit the mesh significantly. So let's just see if there's anything we can put on this that might work nicely. There's a building strut. Now as you can see that's quite a big one, but we could make that smaller. Just have it kind of lying across here. So I'm just going to bring it in on all three axes. Now what I can do is I can either do this, just to bring it down like that, or I can make it 0.2 of the actual size like that. And then if I just go over here, what I want to do is I want to make two of them. I can just go across here like this. Now I'm going to angle them slightly. You'll notice I'm moving them together. Okay, so these are on the floor. Just make sure they're kind of lining up okay the way I want. I'm going to move this one a little bit so it's not quite completely horizontal. Well, you know, completely on line with that one. And now what I want to do is just look for something that I'm going to put on top of this. Goodness knows there's plenty of those. Pavement blocks isn't going to work. They're too static. I mean, they're too dynamic in the way that they're going to lie. So there's a rock. I wonder how big this rock is. Yeah, that rock looks okay. So I'm just going to move the rock across, up a little bit. And I can just have the rock kind of sitting on top of these. Just roll it a bit. Why? Why the hell not? It's something for people to look at and go, oh, is there a rock down here on these? And it's on these presumably because, you know, some giant hoisting thing's going to come and pick it up later. Who knows? Make sure it's flat against it, which we can do with that one. There we go. And what I'll also do is just bring this out. Just have a spare one like that. Just really kind of messing about with our props down here, just making a little something go on. Do a bit more angle out, there we go. So it's just debris and crap, see? And lots of it. But because we've got these, we can also put in a bit more wreckage now if we wanted to, so as you can see we've got all these old bricks and things up here, so we could literally stuff those in if we wanted to. Just at the bottom of the stairs here. Thing is, they're going to intersect, as you can see, so you've got to be careful how you place them. And of course, when it comes to duplicating this part later on, I'll probably take these out again anyway. There we go. So now we've got a few bits like that. Okay, which shows that obviously there's a purpose down here, just the player doesn't really know what it is. Yeah? So if I go over here and just play from there, if we look down, you can see there's bits and bobs down here. Some barrels. They're not lined up in the same way. And that rock just sitting on there. Don't know why, but there's no shadows. Okay, so that's something to do. We've had some fun messing around with that, and I'll see you in the next